Hello and welcome to another YouTube-only episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at DynastyDadFF. You guys we got such a great response for our Smash or Pass wide receiver episode. We are going to bring you today our Smash or Pass running back show. So we're going to give you two different options here. You're going to be a Smash or Pass. Nobody better to talk, dynasty values and running backs than the running back guru himself, the man, the myth, the legend, FF Snoog. How you doing today, brother?
Doing great, Dad. I mean, it feels good. We're finally back on the pod. I mean, you were on your vacation. I was on my vacation. Now it's crunch time, right? Like, now we're crunching up until the season starts in September. We're going to be doing a ton of different shows, fun YouTube-only things, absolutely booming in the Discord. We got 300-plus members in there, chatting daily, asking questions. So life's getting good again. Fantasy football is back up and running. We're back in business, so it's time to rock.
Yeah, I mean, we got to thank you guys. And again, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys are checking us out on YouTube. Honestly, the numbers for our YouTube page have been growing exponentially. Big shout out to @BrockDynasty. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter. He does all the edits. He does all the things. He's going to be jumping on our YouTube channel here shortly. So without further ado, we're going to play a little Smash or Pass. Snook, this time the rules to be a little bit clearer. I'm going to give you the player that you own, and then I'm going to give you a trade option. Smash would be that you're taking the trade. Pass is that you're keeping the guy. So we're going to do this with our top 10 Dynasty running backs. Today on Twitter, I'm going to release my top 15, but we're going to start at the top with Bijan Robinson. So you own Bijan Robinson. I'm going to offer you Travis Etienne and a mid-25 first. So something in that 5 to 8 range. So are you going to smash Etienne in the first, or are you going to pass and keep Bijan Robinson?
I'm going to smash Etienne in the first. I think there is like 6, maybe 7 cornerstone running backs right now that are like, you just can lock and load for being RB1s for the next few years. Etienne's one of those guys, in my opinion. Workhorse volume last year, top 3 finish, 50-plus receptions. He's on a great offense. They added some weapons, and you're getting that mid-25 first. I think the first is what really sets me apart, because it's like, all right, I'm trading a top 2 to top 1 dynasty running back for a top 6, but I'm also getting a mid first. That could turn into Luther Burden, Quinshon Judkins, any of those guys in 2025, which is another really stacked class in the top probably 5 to 6 in Superflex. Maybe Shador pops onto the scene and it makes it even a better pick, but I like kind of insulating there and taking another RB1 and getting that first to add on for next year, because production should be similar between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you here for sure. And for me, it's in this area to get that at plus the mid-21st. It has to be Jonathan Taylor or Etienne. I'm not really taking anybody else. I'm not going down to get older with Saquon. I'm not going down even past that for Achane because it's a little bit risky. But when you talk about Jonathan Taylor and Travis Etienne, they are RB1s, locked and loaded. And then, like you said, that mid-first, it could be Judkins. It could be Henderson. There's a lot of guys that are going to be. Again, I have 6 guys worth more than what Jonathan Brooks was as the RB1 this year. So love that answer. Next one, and this is my RB1 overall, so I changed it up a little bit. Do you want Breece Hall or Amon-Ra St. Brown in a 0.25 PPC? So smash Amon-Ra or pass and keep Breece Hall?
That's a tough one. That's my Dynasty wide receiver 4 versus Dynasty running back like 1C or B or A. It's like him, Gibbs, and Bijan are all in the same tier for me. I think I'm gonna go with Breece in the points in the point per carry bonus, because I think for the next price, he's like that Zeke, that Christian McCaffrey, that Alvin Kamara type running back, and so is Gibbs and Bijan. Like, you're getting guys that you could probably get 6 to 8 years of production with. I mean, if you just look at that 2017 class alone, like James Conner, Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry wasn't in that class, but CMC, Kamara, Mixon, they've all been RB1s for a while now. So it's like Breece Hall, like if they're that good of a running back and they can stay somewhat healthy, they'll give you 6 to 7 to 8 years of production. Breece Hall is one of those guys, so give me that.
See, I think the tricky part for me is if I'm doing a startup, I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. And if I'm in a situation where I'm trying to trade for one asset to put me over the top, it's Breece Hall. When I do my startups, I want to build around young wide receivers and quarterbacks. When I want to add that piece to go in and just absolutely dominate, it's Breece Hall. So, I mean, you got to look for those teams that 2 years ago they took Breece Hall. Now all of a sudden they're out of contention. And it's like, all right, I'm going to jump on that. I'm going to trade. I much prefer trading for running backs than drafting them early just because of the way I build my teams. But I like that. Next one, Jahmyr Gibbs, and that's your guy. But I'm trying to say, you know what? I'm going to make this even more difficult for you because I'm going to throw one of your other guys out there. So you're going to keep Jahmyr Gibbs or you're going to smash George Pickens and a late 25 first. We're going to call that 8 to 12 range in the 25 class.
I am keeping Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think there's a real world where he finishes as the RB1 overall, either next year or the year after. He's going to finish it at some point in his career, and he has all the skills, all the tools, and he's on the elite offense to do so. He's with Ben Johnson there, who's a great offensive coordinator that knows how to get the ball in his hands. He's been working on his route running like crazy. I know you saw that video that I posted on my Twitter of him just absolutely cooking routes. Like, he looks phenomenal. Like, he's going to be a guy that has 100 reception upside, like that Austin Eckler, that Alvin Kamara, that Christian McCaffrey. There's very few. Him, Breece Hall, Bijan, CMC. That's probably it right now. That have 100, that have 1,000 upside. That they could go for 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing yards. It rarely ever happens, but there is always guys that can do that. Kamara's gotten close as well. Gibbs is in that tier for me, and I don't think Pickens in a late first is going to get me to move off of him because he's potentially my Dynasty RB1.
What if that's Drake London?
Yeah, I would take that.
Okay. Like, it's somewhere between the two, I think is right on that even line. I don't think you could do it for London. Pickens, it would have to be a mid first for me too, but I just wanted to see how your George Pickens hype was. If you guys haven't checked it, we have YouTube shorts out now. Our George Pickens ones is absolute fire. Make sure you check it out. We both think that he has top 15, 12 to 15 dynasty wide receiver upside and redraft. So check that out. Next one, talking about redraft, the redraft RB1, the 101 in 95% of your drafts, Christian McCaffrey or two random 2025 firsts. Don't get tricky on me and say if I'm contending Christian McCaffrey and if I'm not. I just want to clear, are you keeping Christian McCaffrey for the pass, or are you going to smash two random 25 firsts?
I'm going to take the two random 25 first. I think the contract extension helps his value a lot in Dynasty because it's proves that the 49ers think he's got more in him. You know what? I just talked myself into it. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey because if most of the time, especially me, I'm contending in 18 out of 18 leagues, I'm taking McCaffrey for this all day. If I could just give up two random firsts, especially if they're mid to late, like that's just like you're getting a top 4 Dynasty RB. You're getting a guy that you can count on and rely on to be a top 2 to 3 RB, if not RB1 overall, if he's healthy till his contract ends and he's in an elite offense, probably one of the better ones in the league. I'm just going to take that all day.
If one's mid and one's late, I'm going to take the randoms and I'm going to cascade it down and I'm going to buy with that late. I'm going to buy either, I'm going to buy Saquon. I'm going to buy Kyren Williams. And I know you don't like him. I'm going to buy Achane. I'm going to buy someone that's late and have that insulated mid because as much as I love Christian McCaffrey, there is a time where it is going to stop. No one since Todd Gurley's been back-to-back RB1s. He will be, as long as he's healthy, he's top 2, top 3, guaranteed. But I think if we see an injury, those first can only go up. Christian McCaffrey can only go down. So, I mean, again, very dependent on your team. But I'm all about buying production at that running back position where if you give me, if you have two random firsts and you keep that mid and you trade that late for Joe Mixon in a second, now all of a sudden you get 90% of the production from Joe Mixon. You have a second to do something else for the insulation, and you have a mid first next year that could be Judkins, that could be Burden. I'm kind of in that boat. So, but if you're an all-in contender, Christian McCaffrey's the only way to go. Next one, Jonathan Taylor or the 105 and the 205 in 2024.
Give me Jonathan Taylor. I was looking at this. I mean, that's my Dynasty RB5. He's right ahead of Etienne just for like situation. Like the Colts have a good offensive line, better coaching staff, just building a better team than the Jaguars. So it's like I'll just take JT there. I think he has a really, really high floor, and he's like a guy that could go for 1,500 and double-digit touchdowns if he has a good year. So I'll take that all day because I don't think Odunze or Brock Bowers is really that much far, like that close to JT where it's like the 205 is the gap for me. Like I think I'd rather just take the proven elite running back than take one of those guys, as much as I love those two. Like those two are great players. I just think there's a little bit more value on the JT side there.
I have JT worth the 105, so I'm going to take it reluctantly, But I mean, I'm in that spot where I want it to be the 202 or 203. So I have a chance at Rome and Benson, or Rome and, and Keon Coleman, something in that range where I have another opportunity. I do think Trey Benson by the end of the year will be, a James Conner injury away from being a top 12 dynasty running back. Because once he takes over, he's not going to look back. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. The next one of your favorites, Travis Etienne or Joe Mixon and the 201. The 201, again, you have Benson, you have Bo Nix in a lot of opportunities. Sometimes I'm seeing Ladd McConkey fall there. So your boy Travis Etienne or Joe Mixon and that 201. Smash the trade or keep Etienne?
Keep Etienne all day. I mean, like I said, this is a top 6 dynasty running back coming off a top 3 year. He's got all the tools and all the upside. If Trevor Lawrence just learns how to play football and throw a check down, Travis Etienne's going to catch 70 passes. So I'll take him all day.
That's a close one for me, to be honest. Like, that's real close, because if you guys don't listen to the podcast, and make sure you guys check us out on Apple and Spotify, all the major podcasts. We love Joe Mixon, but Travis Etienne is very, very undervalued right now. The next one, someone who's not undervalued, someone that I know you're selling everywhere, Kyren Williams or Blake Corum and an early 2025 second.
Early?
Early.
It's guaranteed early.
Guaranteed. It's 201 or 202. Because I feel like anything after that, it's a smash for Kyren. But this is trying to get close. Do you believe in Blake Corum enough that a early second closes the gap and you are going to smash Blake Corum in the second over Kyren Williams?
I do. And I think that early second can be the most valuable asset we get out of this whole thing. Like, in a nutshell. Because, there's a good chance that both Corum and Kyren both kind of eat into each other's workload to the point where it's there's no top 5 or top 10 finish running back. But I think year one, this upcoming year, Kyren's going to have a good year if he stays healthy. And it's going to probably be a 65-35, maybe a 70-30 split, Kyren in favor. But I think long term, once Corum gets his feet wet, gets settled in, very smart player, I think he's going to start to take away that job. Because if he can stay healthy, that's going to be his job. That's what it's going to come down to. And that early second in a running back class like that in 2025 with 4 to 5 good wideouts, maybe a good quarterback, and 8 to 10 running backs that are really friggin' good, I'll take that, because that 201 is going to be someone that's very valuable.
Yeah, and if Kyren goes down a lot, like we talked about with Benson, if Corum does take over, I think it's an opportunity where he's going to take that job, and we're going to see what he really has. Speaking about Benson, the next one, you have Achane, smash or pass, Trey Benson, and a random 25 first or Achane. Achane is the most polarizing player in Dynasty right now, because I feel like he is either going to win you leagues or you're going to be completely upset with him not being available. So smash the picks, or you're going to pass and keep Achane. Yeah.
I'm gonna take the gamble here on Trey Benson year one. Hopefully he gets some sort of flash where he's worth a 25 first, and then I'm just gonna flip him for a 25 first and have 2 25 first for Achane. That's my kind of mythology behind that, is there we go. Now we can hope that Benson plays. Maybe Connor goes down, Benson pops off, and we get a first and a second or something like that. So
on the flip side, Jalen Wright being drafted to Miami, who again I think is the replacement for Raheem Mostert, not for Achane. He's almost become a buy where I'm seeing him get traded for the 110, and I'm like, okay, this is a guy that his yards per carry were through the roof. We saw absolutely electric play. He played like Jahmyr Gibbs light. He was, if you put him in there, he's an RB1. So if you can get him for anything after the 107, 108, it's a smash. He was worth the 105 before the rookie draft. Now people I'm seeing are starting to really sour. So go out there and kick the tires, make an offer for Achane. You'll be surprised with what you might be able to get. 2 more here, and I love the way this show is going. Next one, Saquon Barkley is your pass, or smashing Derrick Henry and another late 25 first.
Smashing Derrick Henry in the first. I think Henry and Saquon can have very similar production in the next year or two, just because the situation Henry's put into. He's a freak. He's absolutely phenomenal at football.
He could have 20 touchdowns, man.
Dude, literally.
Gus Edwards had 13, and you look at the opportunities in the red zone versus what these two guys had. man, I mean,
He
there is
just
a
needs
real
to
world
play
possibility.
17 games.
Exactly.
He needs to play like 14 games and he'll finish top 5. Like literally. I
But if
think
he gets
could be in
injured,
that. He could be like that.
toast.
He could be like that LeGarrette Blount when he scored 1,000,000 touchdowns,
Yeah.
or like that, like just he's like that, or like that Gus Edwards, or like that Jamal Williams in Detroit. Like that's what he's gonna be like.
But
he has
Derrick
rushing
Henry,
upside.
yeah, exactly.
So he
Like
can get 1,300 yards rushing on the ground.
We could see a truly special year here out of Derrick Henry. The nice part about this is that 25 first that insulates it, right? We all love Saquon Barkley, but let's be honest, if Saquon or Derrick Henry gets injured, Saquon's value is going to dip 2 or 3 rounds with a major injury. Henry, if he gets injured, is going to, disappear in value. However, that 25 first by the end of the year could be worth more than what Saquon is right now. That's why we talk about insulated trades. Get the production, get the pick. You have the safety of the pick and the production of Derrick Henry. Love it. Last 3 guys, and these are some of the guys that everybody's really like, Dad, what do I do with this guy? What do I do with that guy? I think all 3 of these running backs could really cook this year, no pun intended, or they could falter off. So we're going to say random 25 first. That's what you own. I want you to go smash or pass on James Cook, Rachaad White, and Kenneth Walker. So first, James Cook. Are you going to take the random 25 first or James Cook?
Taking the random 25 first.
Rachaad White?
Random 25 first.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
I think there's a huge
why Kenneth
gap.
Walker out of the 3?
I think there's a huge talent gap between Kenneth Walker and these other guys. He's like my Dynasty RB9. I think he's super talented. He just needs to stay healthy. I mean, he's a guy that is super efficient rusher. He's a guy that's going to go for 1,000 yards, score like 8 to 10 touchdowns. We'd like to see him catch more passes. I just think like he has such big play upside. We saw a lot of it last year. It's just if he can stay healthy, stay fresh on the field. I mean, Zach Charbonnet's not knocking my socks off. Like he's not a guy that you're like worried about taking his job. He's like another Tank Bigsby, but a little bit better. He's gonna play a little bit on passing downs, pass block, get maybe first down carries or like second down carries to keep Walker fresh. So I think I like Walker a lot better than the other guys. Just from like a dynasty nutshell. Like he was a 2nd round pick, safer job outlook. Sharp really didn't put it all together in year 1, so I don't see them investing in a running back for a while until these guys are kind of on their end of their contracts or done with their contracts.
Yeah, and it's a tricky situation. I mean, I have listed now 15 running backs that I think are worth a 25 first, but then after, I think Saquon's the last one where I would say it's anything 108 or higher. The 109 through 112 is Cook, White, Walker, maybe Pacheco for the 112 if you know you're going to win it all. But you don't have to trade that first now to get the running back. The running back is something you can add week 8, week 9, week 10. So thanks again, guys. I mean, this is awesome. We've been doing a lot of YouTube-only content. Make sure you guys check us out on Twitter. I'm at DynastyDadFF. He's at FFSnoog. We got the Patreon. Make sure you guys check us out there. Patreon.com/SmashAccept. Awesome content in there. All of our rankings. 300 plus guys talking shop every single day. So thanks again for tuning in and enjoy the process.